It is the RIOT on RadioU. This is our podcast.
Hi, everybody. Hopefully you had a good weekend.
It's our last podcast before I go to the desert.
That will come up later. Let's just not spoil what's coming.
Yeah, okay. That discussion does happen today. Other things that happens in the podcast, the Hot Cheetos guy might be a liar.
There's a lot to that, and I don't feel like we even dive as deep as you could. So it's worth, if you want to do a deeper dive on that story, there's a lot to that.
I actually kind of purposefully didn't get way into it.
It feels
it was
like
just like, wow.
Feels like a Lifetime movie or some sort of like podcast sort of thing where each episode we're getting deeper and deeper into this guy's lies.
Seriously?
Or are they not lies? We'll have to find out.
No, somebody's trying to lie about him.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I don't know. We also talk Apple Music, which it looks like that announcement's coming later today or tomorrow. If it's to be believed. HBO eating Discovery, Resident Evil Village, Costco and Disney, Rake versus Gun, Marvel's What If.
That one's cool about the details Disney Plus released about, well, just Disney, not Disney Plus, but it'll be on Disney Plus.
Fake weddings. My package coming from the UK. Just a joke. It's never coming.
I hope you get it soon. Now that we talked about it, sometimes that's what happens.
So we just had to shake it loose.
We talk about it. We shake it loose, and it'll be delivered soon.
I hope you're right. I really do. For my own sake.
Yeah,
just for
it'll
me,
be there. You'll get it.
So look, you guys have a great day.
Text us and say hi, 877 to Radio U. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. It's at Radio U Riot, and you can always message and say hi there, too.
All right. Well, have a great day, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
You thought they were bad live? Well, just wait until you hear this. The Worst of the Riot Podcast with Obadiah and Nikki.
You know, you wonder if you should bury the lead. You know, the big one, wait until you're later in the show to talk about it. But, man, I'll tell you what, the controversy surrounding Flamin' Hot Cheetos that hit over the weekend.
I saw that. I was like, wow, I guess I didn't even realize the Flaming Hot Cheetos, like, Discovery story was so talked about. It's becoming a movie, they said. Yeah. It's being filmed, but now it's all a lie.
Well, that's the part that is, it is kind of a he said, she said, but when you follow the thread, it doesn't look great.
When you follow the Flaming Hot Dust, the Cheetos, then there's some controversy here.
His name is Richard Montañez, and he was supposedly the janitor at Frito-Lay, who called the head of the company and was like, hey, I got an idea. And that's where the Flamin' Hot Cheetos were born.
Supposedly.
So what has happened is a group has sat down. This guy he's a motivational speaker now. He goes around and tells people like, you can make change or whatever you say to motivate people. And in some cases, they're saying he's very highly paid.
Yeah.
Like about $50,000 for a speaking engagement.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah.
Well, that is a lot.
I mean, that's not I used to be in the White House payment, but it's still pretty good.
That'll do.
That'll do.
That'll absolutely do. So he's built his career and his life on this.
Yes. And they are right now making a movie called Flamin' Hot. So I think that movie might even be in production.
Yeah.
Which makes this even worse. So some people got together and they were like, here we go. It turns out that like the person that he claimed to talk to didn't work at the company when he says that he did.
That window when he said.
So like basically all these details in his story don't work out. Like he was not the janitor when he supposedly made this phone call. He was working in like some other part of the company. There was a group of people that came up with Flamin' Hot Cheetos supposedly, and that group doesn't know who he is.
See, things started to unravel, and so now they're wondering, like, did he make this whole thing up?
So, at this point, Nikki and I, it comes down to who do you want to believe?
Yeah.
Do you want to believe these people at Cheetos that are obviously trying to steal this man's thunder? Or is this man telling the truth and he's... so
they're saying this other guy
unfairly railroaded.
Yeah, they're saying this other guy who's emerging is the actual creator of the snack, and that's where the controversy is. Who made the Flaming Hot Cheetos?
Who really made it? And at the end of the day, it's not about credit. It's about money.
Well, yeah, it's about the absolute money that he's been making on this, and if he lied.
Nikki, we should fake invent something. And my thing is like, okay, so let's say you and I go out there and we're like, we invented the Cool Ranch Dorito.
Sure. All right. We can do that.
Right? And we tell our story about how we invented Cool Ranch. Obviously, we didn't. And at some point, the gig is up. We're done. But how much money did we make on the ride? That's the important thing.
That's a good call.
Did we bank a couple of million rolling around like, oh, yeah, I invented the question mark. So what?
No, what can we lie about that will take longest to be found out about? So then you can make the most money between the time.
Well, if this guy's lying about the Flamin' Hot Cheeto, that's part of what makes it so genius. The Flamin' Hot Cheeto, while easily recognizable, is also not important enough for a bunch of people to know its secret origins.
Well, now it is.
I mean, now, yes. But I mean, if you told me you invented the Flamin' Hot Cheeto, one, I don't believe you. Two, once you told me your story, sure.
I'll believe it.
Did. Okay.
So the film that's being made, Eva Longoria is supposed to be working on it, and Frito-Lay has warned them that the urban legend, the story of the Flaming Hot Cheetos and its creation is not quite true. So everybody's trying to figure it out right now.
Don't say we didn't warn you. This is the worst of the riot.
Hey, Nikki, are you ready?
Ready for what?
For music to change forever?
For music to change?
Forever.
Forever, okay.
Are you ready for that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
How's it going to change?
I don't know.
Just, it will?
It's just that supposedly, let me see, I think it's supposed to be today, might be just sometime this week, that Apple is going to change music forever.
Oh, is that the promotional tagline they're saying?
Yeah.
Well, what do we get? What's new?
They say that they are going to add a new tier to Apple Music that will be the lossless tier, which will be a far higher quality stream of music than what you're currently getting.
So was it Spotify we talked about a while ago that was supposed to be re-offering the highest stream quality?
Spotify is going to be offering something like that, and so is what is it, Tidal? I think Tidal's whole business model
is based off of that.
Sure. There's one other company out there that does something similar. They actually require, you have to buy their hardware in order to stream their music. I can't remember which one that is, but the idea is right now, for example, if you're streaming a song from Apple Music to your phone, that is roughly a 6 megabyte transaction for you. If you go to their new format, there's lossless, which that same song will be about 36 megabyte. And then at high res lossless, it'll be 145.
Jeez.
So when you think about if you have a data cap of some kind.
Yeah, you're going to hit that.
10 songs would be a gig.
Yeah, wow.
At high res lossless. That's a lot of data. So that's the idea. They say that this is going to, it might not matter to you with your AirPods and you're walking through the cityscape, but if you're at home, you want to hear a high
on your
quality,
Wi-Fi where you can handle it.
Some high quality stuff. That would be a way that.
Well, I mean, we've said it before when others have talked about making a different tier that you have to pay more to then get a higher quality stream. That's great and all, but I think most people you're not aware of the differences. Your equipment limits it anyways.
Sure.
It's just not necessarily worth you spending as much as you might think because you might not really notice the difference.
I really think it comes down to the individual.
Yeah.
On whether you'll notice.
In your ears. Just depends.
I could see me, if I sat and listened to music, this would be something I would be interested in. Because as I go from, you guys have perhaps heard me talking about Blu-rays and 4K Blu-rays. Audio is actually one of the best reasons to upgrade to that. And it has to do with what they're talking about right here. Bandwidth when it comes to your music.
Yeah.
And so you really can tell the difference if you're the kind of person that can tell a difference.
And most people were just trained. You've just heard a certain level for so long that you just might not.
I had some friends over and tried to play 2 different mixes for them, to show them. They're like, well, what are you talking about? So I played it and they were just like,
nah, it just wasn't.
I don't know, I guess. I'm like, fine. If you can't hear the bit depth, then what can
This is not for you.
I don't know what to tell you.
But again, don't feel bad. It's more just, another thing to pay for.
Yeah, that's
you want to make sure it's worth it.
Theoretically, we'll see this announcement tomorrow, though we don't know that for sure. But probably tomorrow, but who knows how much more they'll want for it. Because keep in mind, not only are you paying for the data that you're using, say, on your cell phone or something, but Apple is paying for the data they're using to send it to you.
Yeah.
So their cost will actually go up. And I know you're crying a river for Apple right now, but that's just the truth.
You hate to hear that, and that cost will just be shoved right onto you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're not paying it.
They're not going to end up in the end paying for all that. You have to.
That's for you. And, you should probably buy some new headphones to enjoy this.
And they have the perfect pair.
Something to think about.
They have a whole family of pairs of different ones that you can find that's right for you.
That's the other speculation, that we'll see the AirPods 3 tomorrow.
Sure. Yeah!
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, did you get your hair did this weekend?
My what?
Your hair?
My hair? Did I get my hair done?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
And how was that?
It was fine. I went on Friday and got it done.
Did you have some stories to tell about it?
No, not really. No.
Nothing?
No. Now, I know sometimes whenever you have something happen, like you have stories that go around it, lots of interesting things like I can't believe, but normally when I go do something, there's nothing.
I mean, like the last time, well, I guess this was 2 times ago that I got my hair done, I found out that the hairdresser's husband really likes He-Man.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
No, didn't get into that.
I think she was commenting on my physique when she said, she was like,
well, she noticed.
You remind me a lot of He-Man. What with you not wearing your shirt and coming in here with long hair.
To get your hair done?
Yeah. And I was like,
you do look similar.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I know. And she's like, my husband really likes He-Man. I was like, that's great.
Maybe she was just commenting because of like your graphic tee choice of the day.
It was not a He-Man shirt.
Didn't have one of those?
It was not. So, but we talked, we had a great conversation. It was nice. What did you guys talk about?
Just normal stuff, just hair stuff, like, new things for hair, all that fun stuff.
Did you get some sort of a new product to try?
No, I got a couple of pictures of things I might try, but we're pretty set on what we're doing now.
Okay. And by we, you mean you and Eric? You've talked your hair strategy?
No, I mean, like, between me and the hairdresser, we're pretty set on, like, the stuff we're using.
The way we're going to manage?
Yeah, because then I manage it throughout our times together.
Yeah.
So that way, because, I'm pretty harsh to my hair, so.
Well, I was going to say, like, what are you kind of doing? Because you may not know this, but coloring your hair is really hard on it. And then especially Nikki has dark hair. She's gone blonde. And so one of the things that happens is it steals an enormous amount of moisture.
It's hard.
Like, it
Very
is.
hard.
So, I mean, are we doing hot oil treatments? You have a daily conditioner routine?
Olaplex. We do that.
Okay.
And we just stick with a particular conditioner and shampoo.
It's a leave-in?
It's a lot. Yes, it's a leave-in. So we just try to hydrate as much as possible.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
That's it. So I didn't really have much else from that.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I want to give you
make
space.
Something?
No, I'm trying to give you space because I know that sometimes you feel like, you come to RadioU, it's all guys.
Stories, yeah.
And, it's all guys. You don't get a chance to talk about
I appreciate
that kind of stuff.
No, other than that, I don't have anything else. Unless anybody has any other products that they swear by and they would love to tell me about.
How about, nails? Do you need nails?
I did those earlier last week.
So how did that go?
That went fine.
Yeah.
Nothing else, though. I mean, we just go get our nails done.
So do you continue to add like some clear coat to those throughout the week, or do you just wait until
No, they're gel. They're going to stay this way.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No, that's it. That's all.
All right. Did you guys talk about the reemergence of who's Ben Affleck dating now?
What's her name? That he used to date.
And they had the name. It's not Benifer. It was the pre-Benifer. It was the
Jennifer.
Oh, maybe it is Benifer then.
Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, no, we didn't talk about that.
You didn't?
No, again, that's a shock, but we'll talk about that next time.
Okay.
Next time we go in.
All right.
If there's any updates.
Well, I just wanted to, notice.
Thank you for that. That's sweet of you.
And 2, I just wanted to give you.
Just acknowledging it.
I wanted to give you a chance.
My own space in case anything came from it.
That's right.
It's the Worst of the Riot on RadioU.
Thank you, Jerome, for texting. You can do the same. 877-2 RadioU. He says, so in a parallel universe, Obi could have been Nikki's stylist.
Because you just would have done really well with that.
I can tell you right now that if I had my life to do over again, my mom tried to get me to become a hairdresser.
Because she is.
Because she is. And in retrospect, the amount of money I could have made, would have been phenomenal. Meaning that
to be a hairdresser?
Yeah, to be a hairdresser, because I would have, a lot of the things where you kind of struggle starting out, I would have had, because I would have had access. Plus I would have had a lot of help. It actually would have been a solid career path for me. And it wouldn't have been like, hey, I'm going to do this the rest of my life.
Yeah.
It would have just been like, hey, I'm going to pay for college and I could make money on the side and whatever.
You could get back into it,
And to quote my mom, she was like, male hairdressers make more because women will pay big for a man to tell them how nice they look when they get done.
Oh, yeah, really?
And I remember as a kid just being like, that's crazy. And as an adult, I'm like, that's a little dark, but also
I could see that being possible.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, you could always just start as my hairdresser. So it pays well.
No, you don't want that. The last thing we need is me learning on Nikki's hair.
No, thank you.
We don't need that. But, I would have done well. My mom's a hairdresser. She's Gabby. I could gab. I'm in the shop talking Bennifer or whatever.
You would have known what you needed to do to make the salon experience.
Yes, I could have done that. So, you know what? Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. My mom's.
You tell me when you're back in and you're trained up enough.
My mom's retired now, so I'd have to go through those early struggles again.
But I bet you she knows enough people that you wouldn't have to. It wouldn't be completely starting from square one.
You're probably right. But we'll just stick with this for now. It's fine. But hey, Jerome, thanks for seeing the potential in me.
But we're going to pass on that one.
I really appreciate it. Could we also talk about the parallel universe where I'm enormously wealthy?
Well, maybe that was the one.
And Nikki and I are vacation friends.
That's good. That's a good one.
What do you guys do? We just vacation together all the time.
Just travel the world.
We're always going places.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the worst of the Riot podcast.
So who's ready to be absolutely inundated? And I mean choking in an ocean of, you're trying to tread water, the waves are crashing in, and there's probably sharks, and you're like, somebody help me, and you can't. That's what's going to happen with You and Friends, the 90s sitcom.
The one that everybody still likes. I mean, it's still around.
Over the next 2 weeks, you are going to be bludgeoned into submission with Friends retrospectives, them popping up in various places doing interviews, YouTube clips, maybe some funny TikToks. Here's the cast of Friends yelling at the Costco person that they don't want to wear masks, or who knows what you'll be able to find.
You'll see that all leading up to its HBO Max reunion in a few weeks.
Yes, including the fact that they're working with Booking.com for you to have the Friends experience, where you would be able to spend the night in the Friends apartment.
So did they just take an apartment and make it look like it, or what did they do?
I don't know.
So it'll be a Friends experience to allow 2 single night stays at a Manhattan location for either Sunday, May 23rd. Oh, okay. So it's soon. Or Monday, May 24th for the $19.94 in honor of the year that Friends debuted on NBC.
And there it is.
That's it.
So what do you think?
Didn't they do something with Seinfeld with that, with the apartment? I feel like they've done that with almost every show from back then.
They had a Seinfeld thing where you could go and see the apartment.
Yeah,
so it was in New York City, so you could do a walkthrough of it kind of thing. They just basically rebuilt the set. So
the bookings start on the 21st at 10 a.m. Eastern time. First come, first serve if you want to try to book one of the stays. The stay itself will be a recreation of Monica and Rachel's apartments.
Yep. So I wonder, the photos that I'm looking at, I think are just photos of the set. I wonder what the actual...
No, I don't know. I mean, I don't remember if that's exactly what it looked like or what.
Well, if you just look at the lighting, that's a set.
Is it a modern retelling of it?
It might be.
Because I'm sure they got most of it right, but maybe not all of it.
I mean, I guess the other way you could look at it is $20 for a night in a large space in New York City.
That's fine.
Either way, even if some of the details are wrong, you really got something there.
So the Friends experience is something you can Google. It'll have locations in New York City and Chicago. that'll be open year around, like for if you want to get into Friends sort of stuff. But for the experience itself, that is limited for the apartment stay.
Oh, it just sounds like so much fun.
Well, you weren't into Friends.
I just can't wait.
Now you just, again, more Friends things all around until the reunion thing airs.
And then you can watch all of the YouTube video reactions of people not liking it.
Of the reunion thing? Yeah, people are already mad at it.
Friends reaction shot. So, you know what? It's great.
So
I feel like I've already done it all. I feel like we just rode the whole wave together.
You don't even have to stay at the place, right?
No, I'm good.
But if you were wanting to travel to Manhattan, $20 for a stay for a night, that will be just fine no matter what old show it was recreating.
Seriously.
That's a deal in itself.
Give me a hospital bed from MASH at $20. It's still a deal.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
Nikki, I thought about you this weekend because I'm always thinking about you.
But did something spark that?
I played Resident Evil 8.
Yeah.
I picked the Resident Evil The Village. I picked that up. And
is that the newest one?
It is. The hype finally got me. Like, I thought I had managed to pass through the hype, but I took Returnal and traded it, and I picked up Resident Evil 8.
Yeah, I figured you were just looking for a game.
Yeah. And you know what? So far, I think I'm about 2 hours in. Most people say it's really only about a 10-hour game, maybe a little less than that. And here's what I kept thinking about. Remember that time, which is like every day, when you and I are laughing at things that people are like, you should not be laughing at that.
Sure.
That
all
is
the time.
That is not funny.
That's how our humor works. And it's not, we don't make it public all the time. It's just how we cope with certain things. And they're not like bad things. It's just things that not everybody else would think would be funny.
It's like, it would be bad if it was real, but it's not real.
Exactly.
And so there were just these couple of moments where I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, Nikki would get this.
Like if you watch the newest Mortal Kombat movie, you know, like they put it like, this is so horrible that you're going to be shocked. And then we're just sitting there laughing because it's like, that's not. Just what's your hat do? How'd your hat do that? It's just one of those things.
So you're saying your hat was in the ground spinning the whole time?
And she fell right on it.
How did you keep it spinning?
So I don't know if Hollywood or game developers would be excited that we're laughing at these parts that they thought would be so shocking.
I have no idea.
But it's just how we do it.
But the thing, I found myself last night, there's this, I'm not going to describe it. There's this thing where like, it was more like psychological terror. Like you're finding things that are supposed to make you imagine these terrible things that have happened. And I'm walking through and I'm just like, you know, you're an artist. I don't know what your day rate is, but they're like, yeah, we want you to make this whatever torture device. Just have fun. And I'm like, you know, there's something sick about that.
Just have fun with it.
Just enjoy. It's like there's something kind of sick going on here. Like,
but you're liking the game?
It's been fun. I don't feel like I could recommend it to anyone that I wanted to respect me later.
It's worse because they're like, what did we just play? What is that? And you're just like, oh, it's like, great.
And how funny was it with the thing? And they're just like, I had nightmares about that. And you're like, well, you know, it's never mind.
But you are handling it.
Yeah.
That's how you handle it.
It's like that time, many of you won't know what this is, but it was the time I recommended to someone unedited footage of a bear from Adult Swim.
Yeah.
It's this very long thing. And we were 60 seconds into it. And I was like, you know what?
I don't think you're going to like it.
I think we'll just go ahead and stop here.
I did not mean to. I take it back.
I thought this was amazing. I just, you know what? Like, what do you guys say to
something else? Let's go to the Switch. Let's play Mario.
What do you guys think?
Usually he's not controversial.
Have you guys ever seen that Yoda thing where he's saying seagulls? That's a good one.
That's safe. All right, well, keep us updated on if anything changes with the Resident Evil game.
No, I don't think it's going to get nicer. I had people hitting me on Twitter over the weekend. They're like, have you been to the thing in the basement? I'm like, no. And they're like, oh.
Wait till you get to the basement.
Oh, the basement. Like, okay.
Can't wait.
Still on the first floor.
Think of it as athleisure for your ears. Radio U's Worst of the Riot podcast.
Huh.
Oh, interesting.
Huh.
What's got you humming about?
So apparently this is what Nikki and I were talking about off air, but let me share it with the world. So AT&T, who owns Warner Media, that's the thing in this whole story I didn't know. They are talking about merging Discovery. So you would end up with, if you have Discovery Plus, they would roll Discovery Plus into HBO Max.
It'd all be one same thing.
It would all be one big happy family.
I don't know about that.
And only $400 million a month, probably.
I actually enjoy Discovery Plus, and I think its interface is slightly better than HBO Max's. So
Sure.
I would hope that we could work and build on a better interface. But imagine if you had all that together.
I spent a lot of time with some friends that watch Discovery Plus all the time.
Yeah.
And so I've certainly seen a lot. What I thought was funny is that not this article, but a different one I read was like, Discovery doesn't have a lot of shows. And I was just like,
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
They have every show has 20 seasons.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of stuff.
I was like, there's so much there. How can you say?
Because remember, it's all that TLC stuff, guys, and there's a lot there.
Oh, there's so much.
So they're talking, though, if the two would merge together, that would become one streaming service, which would take on Netflix then and Disney Plus.
So they feel like they're weaker on their own. So, HBO Max, not as strong. Because, in reality, they don't have that kind of variety of programming. And that is, I will say, if I think about it, that is kind of a hole for them. As HBO Max is, what would they call premium TV plus movies and whatever. But something that's taking off for Netflix are the home improvement shows, the this shows, that. I watched one on Netflix the other day. I actually liked, it's like some British show where you bring in really old stuff and they repair it.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
The Repair House or the Repair. You know what? Basically, just watch stuff from the UK. I don't know. I don't know how nice they are in person, but anything that's a reality type show,
it seems nice.
At least that they show us. I mean, I haven't watched Big Brother in the UK. That's it. Actually, okay. It seems like there's a massive divide. There's this highbrow, really nice stuff in the UK, or it's even trashier than we get. But there's no middle ground.
No in between.
Yeah.
So for HBO Max, you get a lot of movies, or if there is series, they're 10 episodes, and they're really strongly towards one demographic. But for the Discovery stuff, there's a lot there. So they think that could be a value.
See, I canceled HBO Plus, or Max, but I still have Discovery Plus. I don't want them to roll it together.
This isn't anytime soon. I doubt they're just working on it. That'd be a whole thing.
You never know. They could just roll it in all of a sudden, boom, here you go.
The only thing I was excited about, because finally, can we get back to one streaming service that just does almost everything I would like?
I know, but I'll tell you what's bad.
They separated so much.
Here's what's bad about that is we get down to what? See if this sounds familiar from your great grandparents. We get down to 3 big networks that have everything.
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar at all?
It's just how it'll be.
Yeah.
Now, they're saying they should have more news about it today. So this has all been speculation, but with Warner and Discovery, if they do decide to merge, there'd be some news probably today.
It's a done deal. It's happening.
This is RadioU's Worst of the Riot.
Good morning, Kelly. She was just texting us, Obi, that they went to New Jersey to the beach over the weekend and they saw Wawa's every 5 minutes. And they got to go in. That's a place Obi and I enjoy. So we're glad when you guys get out there and travel around and get to go finally see these things.
You know what, Nikki? I went back to...
It's a gas station. So.
I didn't get to go to Wawa, but I did stop back at the new gas station I told you about this morning.
Yeah, you did?
Yeah, you know what I did? It's sad, really. It's sad. I got myself a soda.
Sure.
And I set it down, and you know how on the when you're getting the soda underneath it, it's the grid so it can
the extra goes down.
It'll drain down, whatever. I set my cup there, I filled it up, set it, turned around to grab a lid, and I heard, and it fell off the grid onto the floor and dumped 44 ounces of soda on the floor.
Oh, did you have to clean it up, or what do you do?
Well, I offered. You know what? Kudos to that guy.
They probably can't make you.
The guy that worked there was so chill about it. It was unreal. He's like, man, hang on, check this out. I got this thing. And he had some kind of I don't know what it was.
Is it like the sawdust when you would throw up in school as a kid?
No, it was even better than that.
It would just slurp it all up, and then they just clean that up.
It was something that it looked like something you'd use to scrub a hardwood floor or a tile floor, but that's not what it was. But he just like went over it. It sucked up everything, cleaned it up, and he was done. And I was just like, man, that's amazing.
Oh, you feel bad at first. Like,
I felt terrible. I told him, and he was like, oh man, whatever.
Oh, that's sweet of him.
He just like cleaned it up, and I was like, dude.
Did you get a new one though, or?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you had to pay for the other one? I mean, that was a lot of soda.
No.
Okay. No, we didn't do that.
I didn't, and he didn't seem to indicate there was any concern.
Well, especially if there's like free refills while you're there, like that's just counting as a refill.
I mean, essentially, I might as well just go in there and start pouring it on the floor. He has to clean it up. I get free refills.
Like, hey, you know how you have this grid so that in case it does spill, it all goes down there? I just spilled it outside every other place except for the grid area.
I can't believe I did that. It's just like,
oh, well, you didn't mean to.
No, I didn't. And I was so impressed with how that guy handled that. It was just like, all right, be right back.
It was good. Comes out and cleans it up.
And that was it. I mean, it wasn't Wawa, but I'll just tell you this. You know what? I got a Wawa level service. So
Justin just texted, have you ever been to a Buc-ee's? No. But every time we talk about Wawas or Sheetz or any other of these gas stations, everybody always says, about it. Have you been to a Buc-ee's? And that's on the one-day list. One day we'll go there.
We really need to find ourselves a Buc-ee's.
Now, are those just in Texas or are they? I thought they were only in Texas, but maybe I'm wrong. Justin, you have to let us know.
He's in OKC. But that doesn't mean that let's see, Buc-ee's Beaver, potty like a rock star.
Oh, is that their tag thing?
Okay.
It's a nice gas station. They're huge. They got a lot of stuff.
It is. Why are
their bathrooms are supposed to be the cleanest?
That's
a thing with it.
Okay. All right. That helps me. What you just said right there. All right. Locations: Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Texas, mostly Texas. Yeah, but, there you go.
One day we'll go.
So, Nikki, if you need to go to the bathroom,
I got to hold it till I get to Texas.
Fort Valley, Georgia.
Okay, hold it till there.
No problem.
It says they're like a Walmart within a gas station. They have everything.
That's pretty cool. So, let's see. Jerome says there's one opening outside of Atlanta. Jerome's a truck driver, so he knows where
they're all at.
He knows where to go.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I'm going to tell you right now, Jesus is a freaking genius. Have you ever really stopped to think about the golden rule? Love your neighbor as yourself. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Can you imagine the world if we all bought into it? Like, we all bought into it. Think about a world where you spill your soda and the guy's like,
no problem.
Now think about it. He looks at it and he goes, oh, that's awful. I hate that. What I would like for somebody to do in that circumstance is to minimize it and help me. And so somebody comes over and does that. What? But seriously, think about it. Now, I will say that sometimes, we think this and it leads us to like stupid stuff where it's like, look, I'm not trying to say to you like, yes, continue to be abused because I would want someone to stay no matter what. Come on. Like, let's think real for a minute. Sometimes, you're loving others and you have to show some love for yourself too. You get it? Treat others the way you want to be treated. Love your neighbors as you love yourself. Love yourself enough to stick up for yourself in love. All right. I'm not going to allow myself to be abused because I also wouldn't allow my neighbor to be abused. It's almost like a two-way street. But I'm telling you, if just we would take a minute, and I also feel like, if we could get governments to do this, but nah.
We'll have to start first, I think.
We're just going to have to start down here in the car, in the shower, in the whatever, where you and I are, and just literally think like, all right, today, my goal, I am not going to treat anybody in a way that I wouldn't want to be treated. That could revolutionize the world if we did that, you and me. I get it. Like, you're not going to be able to make your neighbor act that way, but you could make yourself act that way. Now, how? You see, Jesus says that when we allow him to come in, one of the things that he brings and teaches is self-control. Not an easy thing, right? In fact, self-control is like this insanely countercultural idea that I can control myself, and God can help you do that. So think about it. God's going to help you control yourself and show love to others today. And you're going to change the world. Maybe not the whole world, but you could change the one right around where you are right now. Look, if you want Jesus to come in and help you, just say, Jesus, I want that. I want you in my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. I need a little help with self-control. And I want you to show me how to treat others the way I want to be treated. And you know what? You and Jesus go out today and make the world a better place. Your own world and probably somebody else's. I mean, that guy cleaned up my mess. That was nice.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Nikki, of course you were the first person that I thought of when I saw this. Because did you hear about Costco over the weekend?
About the mask stuff? Yeah, Costco, Trader Joe's, and Walmart were kind of like the three big ones going into the weekend with their changing in masks policies.
So the idea is if you are vaccinated, you do not have to wear a mask.
In the states that it applies to.
Right.
So it depends on what your state's rules still are.
So that means that, what do we have till June 3rd? So we got a couple more weeks, I guess. But they also, Starbucks is also doing that. And so is Walt Disney World.
Disney
did that over the weekend.
Yeah, I saw a few friends who were there, and I think it was on Saturday that it started, that if you were just walking around, you did not have to have a mask on. But if you were in the actual attraction, like line in the building parts of those, that's when you needed to put it back on.
So in other words, you should probably still keep a mask in your pocket, but...
Yeah, or just around your neck or something, but you didn't need it if you were just, again, walking around.
It's an interesting thing to watch. What I find is that I feel like there for just a little while, the mask debate kind of calmed down. And I feel like these sorts of things have got it flaring back up. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe people have just been raging the whole time and I've missed some of it. But what I love is this new trend of I'm going to wear my mask anyway. And it's like this, I don't know if virtue signaling is the best term for it, but it's like, you know what? I still wear a mask because I'm better.
Did you see everybody online, though? Because they kept saying, if you're wearing a mask, because you might still feel comfortable.
Right.
That, then it makes it look like you're not vaccinated if you're in that group, pro or, against, whatever. So there's a lot of angles to this.
Here's a shocking idea. What do you care? Now that they're, again, depending on where you are, if they want you to wear a mask, fine, wear a mask. If you choose to, that's fine too. If you don't have to and you don't want to, that's fine too.
I know there's a lot of people who still feel comfortable wearing it. Even when vaccinated, they just feel comfortable with it. David texted, said, good morning. Do you have to show your vaccination card? No. They cannot require that.
The honor system. And most people I know, so honest. Always just out there making the right choice.
Now, Disney, though, it's different because, when we're talking about Costco and Walmart and stuff, they're saying if you're vaccinated, you don't need to. But in Disney, they just changed their policy. They just said that if you are out of buildings now, you don't have to wear the mask.
Sure.
It's not, you don't have to if you're vaccinated or not. They just, that's that change there.
So it's just going to depend on where you are. For me, unless I'm going in somewhere that mandates a mask, I don't wear it anymore.
But you still keep one with you. I mean, you want to make sure because, again, you can still get stuff.
Yeah. Well, certainly. But I'm just, I'm vaccinated. I'm whatever. I'm done. But again, I'm not going to fight with you. You want a mask? I'll wear a mask.
And you wear that, but it depends on your area. But yeah, that was the big talk over the weekend for those big establishments with changing their policy.
Well, Nikki, last week you told me until Costco makes a change, you don't care.
I don't care.
That's exactly what you told me.
That's the place that I go in the most. Otherwise, I still don't go into a lot of places. I do mostly delivery or a pickup.
So here we go, Nikki. In just a couple weeks, That's going to be when you're going to taste freedom for the real true first time.
So David also asked, so does that mean, for all the different sides, are people going to lie and say they have it? And again, the commentary over this past weekend was, don't worry, if someone's vaccinated, they'll tell you. And then normally they're also saying, don't worry, if someone's not vaccinated, they'll also tell you some way. You can, it's easy to tell.
Whatever.
Worst of the Riot podcast.
We were talking about the mask thing, and there's a lot of anger and there's a lot of rage out there about a lot of different things. And here's one possibility. I'm looking at a story here in which two people were having an argument. And this is the part that I think is really interesting. We don't really know what they were arguing about, but they were apparently neighbors.
Yeah.
One of the guys, middle of the argument, he just leaves. And you think, well, this is over. And he comes back with a rake.
Oh no. It's escalating now. I thought he was de-escalating it by leaving, which sometimes you just have to do with a fight.
Oh, I saw what you did there.
Why? Yeah.
He was leaving.
Leaving, yes.
So he grabbed the rake and he came back.
Oh no, what did he do?
Well, Nikki, he just continued to calmly work at the property line.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Probably not.
No, he swung the rake at the other guy, and who, by the way, got a couple of good-sized cuts out of it. So says the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Okay, then, and this is the part where it gets real. And again, you see escalation. We're arguing. I get a rake. The neighbor who was assaulted with a rake comes back with a gun.
Well, now we've topped it, even the rake. Now we're next level.
And he shoots the other guy.
Oh, he does?
Yep.
Oh,
and then he hobbled off.
Yeah.
And got a rocket launcher.
No, I think it stops there.
But he came back and his neighbor had a tank.
He's like, oh, yeah?
And then the thermonuclear war began.
Which shows you when you're fighting with someone, you got to start off low, like with if you have something that you're going to use to hurt or to stop the other person, because you got to have levels to go up higher.
It does feel like each of them skipped a level of escalation. For example, the guy goes for the rake. Seems to me that there should have been a punch there before there was a rake. I don't know.
The rake feels pretty low. I think a rake feels less scary than if someone went and got a bat. Okay. Something like that.
All right. Okay. All right. Unless, what kind of rake was it? Is it like the big fanned out rake?
Yeah.
Or is it one of those deep, iron rake?
If it's the fanned out one, I can't see that doing a lot of damage. But then if you went a shovel, or if you went and still other things for your yard.
So, but we agree that there were a couple of steps.
There was, and I feel like you're missing a lot between the rake and the gun. That's the next
other
level.
Thing.
There was a lot of other stuff probably in your garage you could have grabbed.
For rake to gun, now let me ask you this question. Do you feel like in this war of escalation, where would you place the chainsaw? Below
Past
the gun?
Past the gun. To me, a chainsaw is more scary.
So that's what I was thinking too. Okay, samurai sword.
At first I'd be like, wow, he's a collector.
That's very nice.
And I'd be like, oh, what your fascination with, the history there with that. I don't know. I feel like that is right there with a gun, but under a chainsaw.
Okay, so equal playing field there. So, all right.
Chainsaw is mostly the noise that would scare me the most.
Last question. Probably not the last question, but I'll say that. So we're going from rake up to gun, knife.
Mm-hmm. Knife is under a gun.
It is.
Yeah, it scares me less.
It scares me less.
Because I have the rake, remember?
Oh, seriously.
Especially if it fans out. I can knock it out. I think that's a help.
Thank you.
More coverage.
Does anybody else feel like because of the sound effects, they were able to understand it a little better?
Oh, yeah. You got it. You'll be fine. Now, then, if the chainsaw comes out, then it's all gone.
The thing about the chainsaw, though, is you just run, probably.
I don't want to run.
Too much.
It becomes well, we should have really been working out. And you're thinking that as you're trying to run away.
Well, to be clear, I feel like that when the rake comes out.
True. I don't want any of that. Why can't we just not fight?
We're swinging a rake. It's what are we doing?
No, so they're in trouble. And the guy's okay.
They're both going to recover. But I'll tell you, they're never going to be the same.
Well, no, that's what happens.
Remember that time you shot me? Yeah.
But you brought the rake out.
You brought a rake, so what?
I think you started it.
Find more Riot content online. riot.radiou.com.
Series finales and ones that were terrible. We heard from Nicole, who said Dexter, Zach, who said, what did he say? Lost. And Nate says Firefly. Well, it didn't get a finale, really.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people just want that to always come back. So Katie and a few others said How I Met Your Mother. That one seemed to be the most noted
so as
a poor finale.
Here's the survey results that I have. On the, rounding out the bottom were Sherlock, Prison Break, and Dexter.
Yeah.
Third place went to How I Met Your Mother. Second place went to Game of Thrones, The Iron Throne. Mm-hmm. So, and then number one was the end of Lost, which was called The End.
People think that one was the worst, even over the Game of Thrones? People wanted, that whole season. Everybody was just mad about everything.
Though, if you think about it, Game of Thrones was behind a paywall.
Yeah.
Lost was broadcast.
Yeah, you're
so
right.
you could see where Lost probably just in general had more viewers than Game of Thrones did. Even if you Game of Thrones people just wouldn't shut up about it.
Hey, though, we're long enough away from Lost. Are they rebooting that anytime soon?
Actually, there were talks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a thing. Why you would want to remake Lost, I can't begin to understand.
Well, you'd have to change it in some way, but that would be really hard to. There's only so much you can do with it.
What do you... there's
it's
a
new
smoke
island,
monster
Obi.
and a polar... what do you do with that concept? Just come up with something else.
Well, that's why there's writers.
That's fair.
And they just change it out with another show, and they just add new parts to it.
Yeah, so, and then they're doing a Game of Thrones prequel right now, even though, as Nikki said, I keep seeing people go just remake season 8. It's the worst. Didn't watch it.
So that was some of the other finales, though. Lost seems to be the main one everybody's mentioning. And How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
That one, I agree. That one was pretty bad.
Nobody mentioned this, though. In my circles, it would come up, and that would be Battlestar Galactica. And again, I just want you to know that I was so into Battlestar Galactica. I had people ask me, did you like the finale? And it was oh, it's a documentary. I can't judge whether I liked it.
Oh, so you can't tell if you...
My brain,
just have to keep it in.
My brain was so far down that rabbit hole, I couldn't judge it. I was just oh, that's what happened.
I see.
Okay.
You did like that show.
Oh, I loved it so much. So, all right, there you go. Congratulations to Lost for being the worst season series finale, according to this survey.
I mean, you might have other thoughts, passionate thoughts about shows you hated the endings of, but Obi mentioned it a few minutes ago that if you really love the show a lot, it'd be really hard to make a finale that you would like just because of being sad about your show ending.
Because it would end. It's funny. I watch Seinfeld all the time. Still, I love that show. I never watched the finale.
You just skipped that one?
Yeah, I never watched it. Mostly because I'm in my mind, they're just still living that life. Whatever that stupid New York 90s life was, they're still living that. I never wrap it up.
Well, that's why for us, for shows, they never go away. They come back in one way, shape, or form. And then for us, for streaming, which is how we watch all of our shows now, it's just, they're all there to watch anytime you want.
Yep.
And must have been different to watch, even Lost and shows that were old enough to, you had to watch it when its finale was on. And then that was kind of it, unless you had the discs for it.
Lost was one of those shows that, as I recall, thrived during the TV on DVD.
It did.
Craze.
Yeah. I'm sure it sold a lot.
That was the one that it actually did better once people had to sit down and watch whole seasons of it.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
So they've done a lot of, shall we say, exploring the space when it comes to Marvel TV shows. I get it. Not everybody thinks Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. counts, but I assure you it does. Plus, we saw all the Netflix series. Then you've got the stuff on Disney Plus, which is, Falcon Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki's coming out in a couple of weeks. But they just announced the arrival of What If, which is coming in August, and it's animated. Mm-hmm. I'm actually, of all the stuff they've shown, that's the thing I'm the most excited about.
So what is it?
It's called What If. And they used to do a comic series called What If, and it was one of my absolute favorite things.
Okay.
And so the idea is like alternate takes on the Marvel universe. So what if Peggy Carter had taken the super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers? And you're like, I don't know what any of that means. What if stuff is usually it takes you pretty far down the rabbit hole. Like if you don't know the stuff they're talking about, it doesn't seem that exciting.
Because you wouldn't even know that what if was something different.
You'd be like, oh, so that's what happened.
All.
Yeah. And so the idea is, of course, Steve Rogers became Captain America. But what if instead, the woman he fell in love with became what looks to me like Captain Britain?
Oh, okay.
Or something like that.
The wiki says basically, if major moments from Marvel Cinematic Universe films occur differently.
Looks fantastic.
So you excited about that?
Oh my gosh,
so
can't
that's
wait.
August, right?
Yes. They haven't given an exact date yet, but sometime in August, it's going to be 10 episodes. Can't wait.
And it's animated?
It's animated. And here's something else that's really cool. All of the performers that have been in the Marvel films are giving their voices to their animated counterparts.
Oh, that makes it count even more.
So it will feel even more like, the quote unquote real deal, including so it'd be the last performance of Chadwick Boseman showing up as T'Challa, Black Panther, because he recorded his VO before he died last year.
I don't know if you said it, but What If was the comic book series that came out in 77 and had 200 issues.
I love those.
You do?
I love them because I always am interested in alternate history stuff. So some of my favorite stories are that. So I love For All Mankind on Apple TV. That's what if the Soviet Union beat the United States to the moon and how that changes history. I love those kinds of stories. And so here's an entire animated series. And again, you got to know your Marvel stuff.
Well, I think they're coming after you for this one.
They're coming for me.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's the Riot on RadioU.
Whoa. Is it real? I don't know. Her name is Sarah. She's on TikTok. Nikki, you probably know because you are a resident TikTok expert.
Well, you have your evening time with TikTok every day. But mine's mostly the For You page.
Well, Sarah says that she and her boyfriend broke up and that instead of getting so upset about it, she planned a fake wedding.
To someone else?
Yes, and she took she had photos done.
Oh, to make the ex-boyfriend feel bad?
To make him jealous. She said, just so you know, the fact that you went to those lengths to make him jealous tells me
a lot about the story, maybe.
It's just one of those things where if you had gone off and lived your best life, I'd be like, well, showed him.
Well, I feel like the weddings,
the fake best life tells me
there's no way back from that.
What do you?
Well, it was a trend for a while to get a friend to make it look and seem like that was your new boyfriend if you were trying to make a ex-boyfriend feel bad.
Yeah.
And you could just totally do that or just make it seem like you're in a new relationship or something. But the weddings, the all the way over there result.
It's crazy.
Because then you got to fake a divorce or an annulment or something.
Well, I think at some point she just told everybody it's not real.
It was just a joke or something.
Aww. But I mean, she's got pictures of her friends in bridesmaids dresses.
Wow.
She's got a bouquet. She's got a wedding dress, which, she could.
So her friends were in all this? They had fun with, maybe it was more of just a fun thing. Because everybody else, don't you think one of your friends would have been like, hey, whatever her name was, let's not do this. This is a bit much. But you could tell maybe they just did a thing.
I don't
know.
I don't know. I do know that apparently it wasn't cheap, but she's not revealing the amount.
Of the party, of the wedding, the fake one.
So she says she's happy with it because if nothing else, she's picked up 5,000 new followers on TikTok.
Well, that actually seems more like why she would do that for a little social media fame. Yeah.
So there it is. Fake wedding for the fake followers, probably.
In hopes that her ex-boyfriend would have seen and been sad or jealous.
The problem with that is you can't enjoy that.
The wedding part or
you can't enjoy someone else's jealousy.
Sure.
If you're lucky, you'll see them being jealous, which is highly unlikely. And then you how will you know if they're jealous enough? How does that that's okay. I just like to think sometimes in terms of like, what's your end game? Like, how will you know you've accomplished the thing that you set out to accomplish?
What made it worth you doing all that?
Like, what will you need? What moment will you require so that you will go, yes, I am very glad I did that. And I feel like making someone else jealous, sure, if you walk by holding hands with somebody else, low investment. Fake wedding,
that's a big investment.
That's a lot of time, effort, investment. I'm going to need you want a big return. Well, first off, I'm going to need begging, pleading, lots of tears, things like that.
Almost like it would have been better if there was buildup that the rumor was you were going to get married.
And they showed up to stop the wedding. And they showed up to
stop or wanted you back, but not actually them finding out that you had it. That doesn't seem as much worth it.
Well, it doesn't seem worth it to me.
But she did it.
But you know what? Who am I? And I'm not a TikTok star. I'm also not as beautiful as this girl is.
You don't understand what you have to do to keep up the fame and to get the followers.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it at all.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Man, I just want you to know, I don't think there are any good people anywhere ever.
It's hard. I know that is a
seems like a large blanket
bold statement, but sometimes I feel like the people that are the loudest at I don't know, pretending to be so good and so amazing, that they're the ones that when we find out they were not that way, man, I'm tired of all of those people.
It's a bummer. So over the weekend, the Bill Gates stuff that came out, and the thing is, it's not, you're like, well, that's just rumors. No.
Some of that.
There's something.
He's just like everybody else.
He's just like everybody else.
And that makes me really annoyed.
But you know what? The thing that's hard for me is that I feel like, I don't want to say this, like you're almost better off not having very much money and not having very much influence and not having very much anything and living a quiet life where it's not even an option. You don't find people that are making, minimum wage that are like, yeah, I've got my girlfriend I spend a week with every year. My wife knows about it. It's fine. Stuff, that kind of stuff. Well, you only do that when there's just gobs of money involved.
I think the extravagance of that side, I know like everybody can do these same mistakes no matter what money bracket you're in.
It's true.
But I think with Bill Gates, it was hard because at least during our life, he was always such a philanthropist, no, he's not, that sort of stuff. And then you're just like, well, I think he was. Just
more people should be giving away all their money, just like Bill Gates. He's one of the good ones.
Well, it's hard because then you feel like everything he started, you're like, you doubt why he started it to help people, like you just don't know. So after this weekend of reading a lot of stuff with Bill Gates, man, it was just so like, yeah, probably. That's probably how he was.
Do you remember that story about the woman who lived in a tent out in the...
Lived in a shoe? No, just...
There was an old
not
woman.
Not that who lived in a shoe. Not that one, okay.
No. But where she just disappeared off the map and she lived in a tent.
Yeah, she did, yeah.
I'm going there.
You're not. We can't let this stuff drive us from...
I'm going to the tent. First off,
we can't let this stop us from trusting people because I'm sure not everybody is like this. And
that's what I keep saying.
I know.
And then it's like, and it's not just Bill Gates. It's, oh gosh, I'm not going to name names, but there are so many people that I have looked up to.
Yeah,
all the way back to my childhood. All the way back. My pastor had 2 wives. He had one sequestered. The guys that were my youth pastors, they're all sexual predators on the list now. It just goes on and on and on.
I know.
I'm getting a tent.
Well, okay, let's think of it this way. So even if no one else wants to try to live a good life, we just try our best to live our good life.
Okay, all right.
And forget them.
In the tent. Have you guys ever read up on the Desert Fathers? That's where I'm going.
You're going there?
I'm going into the desert.
It's just, there's a lot to that. It's very hard to trust a lot of people, especially when they're very well-known, prominent people, and they make you try to think that they're doing this good lifestyle to help other people.
Hey, listen, to be clear, I'm not so much standing in judgment over them, because this is how I feel. I don't think I could be responsible with that amount of money.
Sure.
I think you take Obadiah, the person, his character, who he is, and you elevate him to that status, and all of a sudden, all my scumbag tendencies that I managed to squish down, I don't need to anymore, because I can just pay them all off. It's no good. The tent, Nikki.
The tent?
Into the desert.
That's where he goes.
Into the desert.
Okay, but be careful, all right?
The desert with running water somehow.
And a really strong Wi-Fi signal, and you always like hot water.
No Wi-Fi,
well,
but
you want to
definitely
still watch stuff.
I want a flushable toilet. All right, that's all.
That's fine. Okay, we'll put that on the list.
Hot showers, flushable toilets, the desert.
The Riot Radio U.
Nikki, what are you doing later today?
Probably some work, but I don't think I have any other plans.
I always hate that question when people call and they're like, hey, what are you doing? You're like, no. Well, I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing.
Because you tell me what you want. I know exactly.
And then I'll tell you what I'm doing.
It feels like they want you to help you. It's like you have to do something for them. So it's better just to wait and hear what they have to say first.
It's a trap.
You could just say, everybody, that you're doing your taxes later today.
Hey, good one.
You're finalizing that, and that'll get you out of what they need.
I was thinking maybe you and I head out to Chicago today. What do you say?
Yeah, what do you want to do?
Well, okay, I ordered something from the UK, and it's been sitting in Chicago now for 17 days.
For real? Why is it stuck there?
Why is it?
Well, that's a good question, isn't it?
Well, Nikki, I'm glad you and I are having this little chat time we're having
here. You can't go get it, though, until they deliver it the first time.
Oh, Nikki, did you ever see Tenet?
No, I did not.
Okay, because we could do that.
Are we breaking in?
Yeah, where we run through and we got the door codes and we put the stuff on the door and like, oh, let's do that to get it.
Oh, to get the package? Mm-hmm. So these are some 4K?
No, this is my Flash Gordon lithograph.
Oh, your poster you got. Maybe they wonder, like, is it something else? Is it not being allowed to travel any further?
Man, this thing's hanging on the wall in the post office right now.
Can't you call or email about it, or is it just not worth it?
I don't think so. Like, so it came, this is the part that kills me. It came like Royal Mail. It came across the freaking ocean.
Yeah.
Like.
But it stopped there.
That. Like, I mean, it's been, but for 2.5 weeks now.
Maybe it has to quarantine or something. Maybe it has to sit there and wait.
You think so?
Probably not, but maybe. I mean, it feels like that could be right.
That makes us feel better about the job they're doing.
Yeah, and they're probably just telling you that just while they're not rushing to get to it.
Like, oh yeah, we'll get right on that.
We'll see if it moves in 14.
We got a special team that's working on it right now. It's been 17 days.
Oh, so it's past the 14 days.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what to tell you then.
I do. Like, your money's gone, son.
Sometimes when you order things and it's not like through Amazon or a way where you can see how it normally goes through this delivery thing and then it goes there, like it has its normal path. I feel like it can rush in the beginning, but then it just sits there. It might actually be traveling. It might be already going out. They just haven't updated something.
That is true. With the post office, they're usually like, you get it, and 3 days later, it's like, oh, look, they updated the tracking.
I'm sorry, it is the post office?
Yeah.
Okay, they probably actually sent it back to the UK. Then to someplace here, like Atlanta to LA, to Seattle, to New York, and then to you.
It's on a
tour of America.
It's on a horse-drawn cart in Moldavia right now. But I'm sure it'll be here before you die.
You'll get it, and you'll be thankful, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's at a place where it can't actually update. It's so far away.
She's not lying.
Maybe it's in Canada.
Maybe it is. Northern Canada. Way northern Canada.
Well, one day you'll get your poster, and I'm sure it'll be here soon.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be great.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.
I have stood in the burning light of God's own presence.